Welcome to History at Home, bringing the museum to you. Winter is a majestic time when the world around us seems crystallized in ice and snow. The Niagara Falls are no exception to this with their stunning winter views of our frozen falls. But wait a minute, can the Niagara Falls actually freeze? To our eye, in some years, it looks as though they do, when the mist and spray form a frozen crust of ice. But underneath these sheets of ice, the water continues to flow. Accumulation of this ice occurs in part due to the decreased volume of water flowing over the falls. In the winter months, a greater amount of water is diverted to the hydrocanals and tunnels roughly a kilometer from the falls. Exactly 75% of the water in the Niagara River is diverted, to be exact. This allows for only 85 million liters of water per minute to flow over the falls. Compare that to the spring and summer months from April 1st to October 31st, when only 50% of the river flow is diverted, allowing 170 million liters per minute to cascade over the waterfalls. Historically, records show the falls did stop once due to ice, but not because the falls themselves froze over completely. For 30 hours in March 1848, the rush of the river ceased. High winds in Lake Erie forced millions of tons of ice to eventually lodge and block the source of the river, completely preventing the flow of water to the falls. Locals who were accustomed to the roar of the falls likely found the eerie silence unnerving. The ice dam eventually gave way, allowing the flowing water to break through and resume its course down the Niagara River. Such a phenomenon has been prevented since the installation of the ice boom in 1964. The ice boom prevents large chunks of ice from flowing out of Lake Erie and downstream on the Niagara River, eventually cascading over the falls. The ice boom is a 2.7-kilometer-long installation of floating 30-foot-long steel pontoons placed at the source of the river between the town of Fort Erie and the city of Buffalo. This holds the ice back, preventing damage to bridges and the impediment of power diversions. You may notice in these images that the American Falls appears to be much more frozen than the Horseshoe Falls. That is simply due to the volume of water. The American Falls only receives 7% of the Niagara River flow. With less water, there's obviously a greater opportunity for ice to form and build. You may have heard of the ice bridge. This is a phenomenon that occurs in the river below the falls following a series of days with temperatures below zero. Essentially, a bridge of ice forms over the river, made of accumulated ice which is passed over the falls, which freezes into a solid lump almost looking like a glacier that can build up to 10 stories in height. In the 1880s, it became a popular winter pastime to venture out onto the ice bridge. Small huts appeared serving refreshments to the brave souls willing to venture onto the frozen surface. This tradition continued until 1912, when on February 4th, the ice gave way, claiming the lives of 3 individuals. Eldridge and Clara Stanton of Toronto were exploring the ice bridge with many others. Around lunchtime, the crowds thinned, but the couple remained with a few others, 17-year-olds Ignatius Roth and Burl Heacock of Cleveland, and the famous William Red Hill. Shortly before noon, the ice bridge began to break up. Red Hill ran toward the Canadian side, encouraging others to follow. Unfortunately, the other 4 attempted the American side, becoming trapped on a large floe moving downstream. Roth managed to get ashore under the instructions of Red Hill, who had been running alongside on the shore. Burl and Eldridge were assisting a collapsed Clara from exhaustion. Despite attempts to rescue them using ropes from the Cantilever and Whirlpool Rapids Bridge, the trio did not survive. This image shows Burl on the ice floe once it had separated from the Stantons. The Niagara Falls in winter is both a majestic and dangerous wonder, best observed from the safety of the Niagara Parkway. Thanks for letting us bring the museum to you.